Hey everyone, Steve Strickland, broker owner of Strickland Realty, coming to you today to talk about valuation. How do we figure out the value of your property, and then pricing strategies on your home. So you guys can easily go on to Zillow or Realtor.com or anywhere else in the entire world and get a very skylight, inaccurate valuation of your property. I actually did a test with this a year ago, because I would show the client the Zillow valuation of the property, and then I would price the property and what we would sell it at. Because once you list the property, typically the valuation goes to where the list price is. So if you take a look after it's listed, it's completely different than what it was before it went active on the market. So the way that valuations work on properties is it is based on your home compared to other similar homes in a very small radius around your property, same neighborhood, within the last 6 months first. And then if there's not enough home sales in the last 6 months, what they do is they widen it. So it'll go into a little bit of a larger area. The 6 months will turn into a year, and they base your home off of other homes that are similar that have sold, and that's how the appraisers, as well as myself, will come up with a home valuation. Now, 2 notes on that. A appraiser will only look at homes sold, and that will be the appraisal value. I also take into consideration active properties or competition on the market, because there's a lot of times that you can, get a higher price because there's only one house of competition, or the competition on the market for your home doesn't stack up with the updates that you have, so you can get a little bit higher. But that's how we come up with value. So, pricing strategy. There was a common myth, I guess you could say, or a common negotiating myth that a lot of sellers thought was a good idea, both years and years ago and still today somewhat. And that is overpricing the house. Because let's say you want $450 for the house, so you think pricing it at $475, $500 is a good idea, because somebody's going to lowball you at $425, and then eventually you'll end up in the middle at your $450. That is one of the worst strategies that you can actually do, because it doesn't work. And all it does is leave you days on market. So I will go through the most important pricing strategies, how it works. Because if you price the house wrong, it does nothing but bad things for your wallet. So, number 1, as you maybe have seen me say in multiple videos, the number 1 thing that you can do to get the highest price for your home is to get multiple offers. You can only get multiple offers within the first 15 days of being on the market. I'm sorry, you can only go above asking price. This is what I'm trying to say. You can only get asking price or above within 15 days of being on the market, or when you get multiple offers. Everything that we do here is to try and drive those 2 things so you can get asking price or above. Now, if you are watching this pre-pandemic, it holds true. The only time that you'll get over asking price is multiple offers or 15 days. If you're saying, well, Steve, during the pandemic, everybody was getting multiple offers. Yeah, they were. I mean, everybody was going over asking price. Yeah, they were. But it was happening because of multiple offers, and because there was offers within the first 15 days. So it holds true no matter what the market is, okay? So my point in all of this is, if you are overpricing your house to try and get somebody who's going to lowball you and negotiate down to come into the middle where you actually want, all you're doing is you're extending your days on market. And by extending your days on market, you're getting out of that 15 days window that I advise you to be in if you want to be over asking price, okay? So pricing goes in brackets, and it's because of how buyers' pre-approvals are given. Buyers' pre-approvals will be given in increments of $25,000. No other way to do it unless the buyer specifically asks for a $515,000 pre-approval. When you go to the bank, you won't get a $412,500 pre-approval. Will never happen. You'll get a $400 or a $425. Nothing in the middle unless you ask for it. So what happens is people will look in those brackets, especially when it's a hot market. People will look in those brackets. So if you get pre-approved for $425, most likely buyers, or 90% of the buyer pool, will look $425 and below. So if your house is priced at $427, you are missing all of the people who are only looking at $425 and below. So you're missing a huge portion of the buyer pool, which goes back into affecting how many people see your home, how many offers we get on your home, and how much we can go over asking price, what the price of the house can be. So by pricing it out of the bracket, you're making a humongous mistake. So again, if you want $650 and you price your house at $700, so you have room for negotiation, what you're doing is you are eliminating all of the people who could buy your home, or 90% of the buyer pool, who could buy your home at $650, because when they do the filters online, or the realtor does the filters online, it says $650 and below. They're not seeing your $700,000 house. They're not even seeing it. It's not even a house that's for sale in their mind, because it's out of the filter range, right? So you're eliminating this 90% of the buyer pool. Now you have your $650,000 house, what it's really worth, listed at $700, and now it's competing against houses that are actually worth $700. So now you are the least desirable home in the $700,000 price range. Why would anybody buy the least desirable home in that price range? They're going to buy the most desirable home in that price range. So it doesn't work out on either end of the spectrum, and it's a big mistake that people made a whole lot more. They made it during both. It's a big mistake that people made pre-pandemic as well as post-pandemic, because post-pandemic, now the market is crazy high. They're saying, oh, it's crazy high, let's go even higher, which is, again, a mistake for all the reasons that I have just laid out. So hopefully this video brought you some value, made some sense about how we value properties, as well as pricing strategy. And I cannot stress enough the pricing brackets, how important those brackets are, because of how buyers search, as well as how most realtors search, where it's that bracket and below, and anything above it gets completely lost in the weeds and doesn't exist in their mind. So very, very important information on pricing and brackets. Hopefully you guys picked up a thing or two, and I'll see you guys on the next one.